Good morning.
No?
I know what you're thinking. Who the hell is Locala? This is a good time for me to
Mirror, okay.
catch
It's
up on
mirror, right?
email,
Okay.
make some phone calls. I've been in
Thank you.
your seats. But what if I told you that what we're going to demo here today, every single agency, every brand, every out-of-home company and DSP in this room can use the tool that we are going to show to make your digital out-of-home campaigns better, to make it more like digital. Real audiences, and be able to optimize during the campaign towards those audiences. Well, go back. Who is Locala? We're founded 13 years ago in France as a mobile DSP. We are now a global insights, analytics, activation across all digital screens, mobile, desktop, digital out of home, and connected TV. What we do, we analyze the hyper-local point of interest, down to a point of interest, zip code, DMA, state, understand the best audiences, understand who they are, who your best customers are, and then activate across all four of those digital screens. So we've evolved. Why are we here today? What is the issue? Digital out of home is relatively new. If you're still looking at digital out of home like static out of home, then you're not doing it right. You want to make it like all of your digital campaigns. There's increased demand on all of you and expectations to make digital out of home like digital. Right now, we're working with static and incomplete data. Don't really know exactly who it is that we're reaching. We know unique impressions towards the different panels, but do you really understand the audiences? You have limited optimization capabilities, and what we're going to show will solve for most of this. Typical digital, we do viewability, attention metrics, brand safety. Why not do this for digital out of home? It can be done. What we're going to introduce, we call our digital out of home panel scoring. So we believe that digital out of home could be exactly like your typical mobile campaigns, your desktop campaigns, and we could activate it that way. We take mobility data, census data, intent data, and we combine that to understand the mobility patterns across the physical landscape. Understanding where these people are coming from, what they're doing. An example that I typically like to use, Wall Street, Monday to Friday, between 6:30 and 4:30. Very, very different demographic that you're gonna have on the weekends, or even in the evening. So optimize your out-of-home panels, your digital out-of-home panels, to reach the right audiences at the right time. Take socio-demographic data, behavioral data through mobility patterns and purchase data, and then understand those impressions, and then score the different panels. Now, you could use this in many different capacities. After we show you the demo, I'll tell you exactly how anyone could work with this. I'm gonna pass it over to Janis, who's gonna show you a live demo of this tool.
Okay, does this work? Okay. Hi, thank you, Ed. Ed mentioned, we do work with a lot of different data sets, but the most important data set that we work with, specifically within the score in our planning tool, is mobility data. And our mobility data is sourced from in-app SDK integrations. That, along with our POI database that holds thousands of POIs, and we store them, we classify them by polygoning them, naming, brand, opening hours, and vertical, allows us to really understand the full picture of how people are moving in the real world. Like Albert mentioned, it's all about what's happening in the real world. So we need to know where they go, where they're going, and what they're doing. And this data set really allows us to hone in on that user journey. And now we're able to tap into this data to plan and optimize, like Ed mentioned, digital out of home. So I'm going to start by showing you guys a little bit of how the tool works. Ed mentioned we do have behavioral census data, social demographic data, and we're going to start out by building out that audience. So, for example, let's look at fast food lovers. And now we know that Austin has a younger demographic, so let's say 35 and make me feel young because I'm at the cusp of that. And now let's hone in on that local view of Austin. So 1 second. Everybody likes a pretty map, right? So what you're seeing here is essentially where we can find, and I'm going to do one switch. I'm looking for fast food lovers who are 25 to 35-year-old in the Austin DMA area. So we understand that the greater Austin area has about 2 million people. And based on the criteria that I've entered specifically, because I'm using because I want to look specifically for fast food lovers who are in that younger demographic, like me, we know that we can target about 391,000 people, right? So that's great. We know what our potential is against the demographic of the area that we're trying to target. So why do we care? Well, because now we can apply digital out-of-home screens and understand where those panels are and how we can target this demographic. So I'm going to switch over, and I'm going to select what panels I want to use for this activation. So I'm going to do gas station, malls, outdoor, residential, and retail. And then the inventory is going to pop up on the screen as well. I can zoom in to look a little bit better.
So all the digital out-of-home inventory is already populated into this tool.
And right now what you guys are looking at is home location data. So we know the behavioral patterns, we know where they live, we know where they work, but we're going to take it to the next level with our digital out-of-home scoring feature. Once I turn on our feature, you're going to see that the color is going to change. And I promise that's not just to make it prettier, but it's also to signify that we're switching over to our mobility data, and we're looking at people that are passing by the area that fit that demographic that we selected, not those who live in that area. And what our tool is going to do is, it's right here, a little blurry, but you guys can see it. It's going to let us know what panels we should be targeting where and at what time of the day to hit the majority of that demographic that we just built in our criteria. And this really helps us start our campaigns right in the right foot. We know where they are. We know when we should be serving those ads, because we know that a panel at 10 a.m. does not have the same reach as a panel at 3 p.m. But now we can know at 8 a.m., is that panel able to reach the target audience that I've selected specifically for my campaign? And that's what the score is able to do. It's really helping us start that campaign in the right foot. And not just that, we're able to use this data to optimize, because our data is refreshed weekly. So the information that we see today, when pulled a week from today, could show us different insights and information as to people are moving around in the real world, because people change. And after the pandemic, even more so.
So it's updated weekly, but it's on a 30-day rolling basis. So every week, it's the past 30 days.
Perfect. So understanding that allows us to now go from planning to activation to optimizing in real time, near real time, for digital out of home, something that we didn't have in the past. So that's very exciting for us. So our planning tool has many different features. This one is specifically dedicated to digital out of home, and we're very proud to bring it into this room specifically to show everybody how we can really move into the future and bring digital out of home into those other digital channels and really be able to score them just like we would do mobile, just like we would do CTV, and understand what's happening. But our tool is also is useful to help us plan and have a strategy before we even get to the specific targeting areas. And that's thanks to the release of our new helper, our Insights AI strategist, who helps our account management team strategize and use the million data points that we have in our database to help our brands plan their campaign and understand what strategy they should be using. So, for example, I'm going to use a local brand, so Whataburger, I'm sure everybody knows them. And we're going to take a look at what their cross-visitation looks like. So we know nationally, well, in the states that you find them, we know that their top competitors might be Subway, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut. And that's because we know that people who are visiting Whataburger are also visiting these other fast food places. And we can also jump, again, back to Austin at a more local level and understand if that changes at a local level, because we know, as of first, Scott's friends showed us, what happens in Chicago is not what happens in Miami, and not just because of the weather. So now what we're able to do is activate our friendly Insights AI helper to kind of crunch that data for us, right? Save us some time. Doesn't mean we're replacing anyone. I know the fear of AI is that we're replacing all the humans. We're not doing that. We're just really giving some more time back to our account managers to help them crunch through all the data and help them build that strategy. So our Insights AI can help them by just clicking a button. Sorry, it jumped out. 1 second. See, technical difficulties everywhere. That's why we won't be replaced by AI.
But the AI really does save time, and it gives us the strategy to recommend to our clients.
Okay, here we go. Now we can ask him to do a quick analysis for us, just see what happens. He's friendly, I promise. So he's going to tell us a little bit about the demographics and what's happening in Austin at the local level, right? So he's going to tell us that we know, based on all the data points and all the footfall patterns that we see, that 82% of the visitors that are going to Whataburger are also visiting other fast food brands, which means they have some competition out there. They're not just exclusive to them. They know they're going somewhere else. So where else are they going? They're going to McDonald's, they're going to Subway. We know what percentage of those people are going to each of those different competitors to understand who we should be focusing on, right? And then it'll give us a summary about primary objectives, who the audience should be, what kind of tactics we can employ. And that's pretty straightforward. But if you want to ask it something, you also can. So maybe you want to ask it, based on the information, should I focus on competitor conquesting? See what he thinks.
Now, all of this data is 100% our data, and it's based off of the Meta LLM.
Okay, so based on the cross-visitation, it's saying that within the fast food sector, 82% are seeing a high significant change through versus the average national. So it means in Austin, they are going to other places more frequently than in the national level for the brand. And we should focus on competitor conquesting. So how can now we go back and take that information, knowing that we have to do competitor conquesting, and how can I build an audience specific to target that and where I should target, right? Using what the AI has told us. Well, in our audience builder, we do also have a section for brand affinity. And I'm going to, I believe the first one was McDonald's. So I'm going to look up, oh, it's not clicking, hold on, sorry. Technical difficulties. All right, we're gonna put in McDonald's, and we're gonna go back to Austin, and what we're able to see now is where the people live who have the highest affinity towards McDonald's. So we understand where McDonald's highest affinity customers live and where we can target them. So that gives us a great opportunity to drop in some digital out-of-home strategy in those locations and competitively ambush the competitor. We do have a lot of self-brand data, and first-party data is amazing and it's great to have, but sometimes we don't know what's going on at the competitor. So that's what's great about our tool. It helps us understand the competitor side of it as well. So knowing that, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same. I'm going to pick a few panels that I wanna target. I'm gonna apply it, and then I'm gonna turn on our score. And based on the high affinity of those McDonald's consumer, now the score is going to focus on telling me where, what panels, and when I should be targeting to hit McDonald's affluent customers. So just 1 second because it's loading. But it really, what I'm trying to explain is that it's a really great way to link the insights and the data and all those data points that we have into an actual activation and really bring it down to the local level. And that's what you can do with our tool.
And do that on a national scale.
Sorry, 1 second. Oh, yay, it behaved. So again, you'll see, we'll understand where, when, and at what time we should be activating. Now, the tool's not here to tell you, don't buy this partner because they suck. That's not what it's telling you at all, I promise. What it's telling you is buy this partner at 9 a.m. and buy this one at 12 p.m. because that's going to give you your biggest ROI because that's where you're going to see
it
them.
It all depends on the audience. And for different campaigns, the audiences are going to be different. So different panels may be better for different times of day.
Exactly. So we can go back now. Thank you.
So it's also good to note, because we were founded in France, which is the birthplace of GDPR, our entire platform is built off GDPR, and we apply GDPR globally, not just in Europe. There are a ton of American companies that had to flee Europe in 2018 because of the regulations, and we are already built for it. So as regulations come into the US, all this data is privacy safe.
No. Again. There.
There we go. So how can you work with us? One, brands and agencies could use us fully managed. The benefit to that is within one platform, we have all of these insights. We have mobile, desktop, digital out of home, and connected TV. Also within the planning tool, which we didn't go through, the other forms of media, display, video, CTV, we understand media receptivity on the local level, and we could deploy that on a national scale. So for New York City, the media mix may be very different than what we are doing here in Austin, Texas. Digital out-of-home panel is separate from the media receptivity. We all know that out-of-home works. So it's going to be a part of any media mix, but then when it comes to the other three, we deploy that different. Also, we measure foot traffic attribution. So within the platform, you have everything in one platform. Now, if you don't want to work with us in that way, out-of-home companies and any other DSP, we can connect our scoring system to the DSP so that whoever it is that you're using can deploy this scoring system. And we could also do a direct integration. We could directly tie into your bidder so that when you are buying this programmatically, our scoring system will rank what you're paying for that inventory and tell you, yes, you should buy it, or no, you shouldn't. So many different ways. And we're deploying this out to everybody. So it's not just us, anyone can use it.
And lastly, does it work? Who knows, right? No, I promise. We did some studies as well. So we ran a couple of brand lift studies to understand campaigns where we ran the score and campaigns where we didn't run the score to see if there was a bigger impact when running the score versus not. So luckily, our product team is very happy because after working many months on this, it works. So we're all very excited about that. And we tested with one of our casino partners. And we were able to see a significant brand lift when using the score because it was so tailored to those areas where that audience was at. So we saw a 24% increase in brand lift, a 65% impact score, which is above the benchmark's 50% in impact. We were able to see a 70% ad recall, which is huge, specifically for a casino brand because it is a little saturated, especially in Florida. Got a lot of tribes fighting it out. And lastly, we were able to see 55% in consideration. So people were 55% more likely to consider visiting the casino in the future after being exposed to the ad in the specific placements where that brand was. So a little bit about the strategy. So we just used our panel scoring system to see where those audiences were when they were and hit them specifically in those areas with specific messaging because creative does matter in the real world as well. And then we were able to optimize the campaign and make changes during flight to kind of pick up on different panels in different areas to really see that impact in the campaign. So we're very excited about the new feature, and we're hoping that it can bring a lot of growth and future to the out-of-home space. Thank you.
Come talk to us if you're interested in this. You don't have to use it, but it will help your campaigns.
All right. Thanks, you guys. All right, Janis, Ed, big round of applause for these guys. And also, where's Pierre? We have Pierre here as well with the team. So if you have questions, what was just presented, very cool stuff, you guys. Thank you for that. And wow, how brave to do a live demo. That takes huevos rancheritos right there. So well done there. Yeah, get with the folks from Locala if you have questions about what was presented. Always nice having you guys and your insights.